Following is a WUSF-TV production.
Welcome to Arts Inside Out, close-up looks at the visual and performing arts in this state of the arts. We've already saluted summer as the start of the festival season. The New York Times recently listed 150 music festivals scheduled for the U.S. and Canada, and we've mentioned one on the Florida West Coast. We now draw your attention to an upcoming August festival on the East Coast, Daytona Beach to be exact, featuring the London Symphony. Then there's another festival right on our doorstep. Whether you move on little cat feet or two left feet, the 1991 Florida Dance Festival is ready to educate and entertain you. From June 14th to June 23rd, there are some 100 master classes, workshops, and dance performances of incredible variety. We spoke to Rebecca Terrell, longtime director of the Florida Dance Association, a nonprofit group which provides support, information, and assistance to Florida dancers and dance companies. She told us about this year's events and the organization itself.
This year we have everything ranging from tap dancing to some very political dance theater from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and lots of things in the middle.
And you have a man who uses his body.
We do indeed. One of our guest artists is named Keith Terry, and he is what he calls a body musician. He started as a jazz drummer and tap dancer, and his performance now has evolved into a kind of body music where he moves and dances and plays instruments and found objects and household appliances and toys and lots of things. It's a very unusual show, a very entertaining show. It's something that shows that dance and movement can also be thought of as music. And in a way, it's very similar to the tap trio that we're bringing in from Los Angeles called Steps Ahead. They are a trio of young tap dancers. I'd say they're probably in their mid to late 20s, who have taken that old hoofer tap dance style and really brought that sort of the artistry of those old-time dancers back, and they're also adding their own sort of funky side, and I think it's something that's going to really appeal to Tampa audiences.
And then there's a very outstanding Florida ensemble.
Yes, we're very excited this year to be presenting the Mary Street Dance Theater from Miami, which is a modern dance company directed by Dale Andre, who is a choreographer that's beginning to get a lot of attention. She's been working in Miami for a number of years, and her company is going to be performing an evening of their repertory, which includes a piece that we're particularly excited about called Still Heat. It's something that the company has recently performed in New York and also at an international festival in Peru, and has gotten rave reviews for. So that's something especially satisfying for us to be able to present this Florida artist and her company to the Tampa community.
All the performances showcase abilities. The workshops themselves and the classes have an instructional and informational characteristic. Can you give us a little background about the association and what it aims to do through the festival?
Right. Well, the association is a service organization primarily. We are here to develop and promote and assist the art form of dance and contemporary performing arts as they relate to dance. And the festival is our oldest program. It started as a summer workshop, and the educational component was its backbone and really still is. It was a time when dancers and teachers from all around the state could come together in one place, teach classes for one another, learn from one another, share information and experiences. And from that sort of educational and class base, the festival has grown. We still have over 100 master classes and workshops during that week of dance. It's an enormous amount of activity. And there are very few places in the state that could host or hold such an event. We're very lucky that we're able to be based at the University of South Florida's Dance Center, because the studios are so glorious and we have access to wonderful theater space So that whole educational component is the backbone of the festival, and the performances have been built around that.
You said it's the biggest festival to date. What kind of numbers are we talking about?
Well, we're looking to probably have about 300 dancers and teachers and students simply in the classes alone. The performances, it could range anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 people by the time the festival's over.
That's enormous.
That's a lot of people.
Yes. These are mostly high school students, community college, and college students. What kind of ages?
Well, it's interesting. We have a pretty mixed community that comes to the festival. I'd say about half of our student population is actually high school age or younger. The other half, though, is all over the map. It's professional dancers who are at the peak of their performing or choreographing career. It's teachers who have been doing this for a long time and look forward to the festival each year as a way to feel renewed and get connected again to that community. The best teachers always feel like you can never learn enough. So it's a time when the whole community, really from one side of the spectrum to the other, can come together and sort of learn from one another. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the main things we try to do for students is to open their minds and provide options for them. And in many cases, students from small towns, for example, who have had only ballet training or maybe some jazz, come to the festival for the first time. It's the first time they've ever maybe seen or definitely taken a class in modern dance, African dance, flamenco, Haitian, tango, Baroque, so many things that we offer. And it's just a way for them to realize that there are lots of options for them. And maybe they don't have the body to be a ballerina, or maybe their own aesthetic is pulling them in a different direction that they're not familiar with. What we can do in a week is certainly not train a dancer, but we can let them know what other options are available to them so that they can sort of follow their own heart.
As Rebecca says, it promises to be an exciting festival, and a highlight is likely to be the Argentinian dance company called Núcleo Danza. Directed and choreographed by Margarita Bali and Susanna Tambuti, Núcleo Danza has been electrifying audiences from West Germany to Portugal to Paris since 1983. Critics call their work overtly political, occasionally brutal, flamboyant, funny, forceful, everything but dull. Here's a sample of their style in a piece called A Night with Gardel. It's rooted in the traditional Argentine tango, but what a difference. There's plenty of theater activity, too, in the Bay Area. For example, the Pack Performance Company, which resides at Ruth Eckerd Hall in Clearwater. Until June 9th, it's presenting The Perfect Party, a play by A.R. Gurney, author of The Cocktail Hour in the Middle Ages. Gurney specializes in dramatically documenting that vanishing American species, the WASP, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Perfect Party director Scotty Michael talked about him and the play. Perfect Party, by the way, is running through June 9th at Studio One, which is a very interesting performance space. I'm told that Pack Performance is concluding a very successful second season, and this space is a small one.
Yes, it is. It's an intimate little theater, seats 50. So the experimental things that are done there are, it's a beautiful setting for nice little theater in which brave things are done, and the audience is very close to the actors. So there's a lovely give and take ambivalence and ambience that goes back and forth between the actor and the audience.
Why do you like Gurney?
I like him because he is so brave. He takes risks. Each one of his plays is totally different in that he attacks a different set of American values. And the reason I think he's marvelous is that he takes all the phony American dreams and completely shatters them. And he is a born iconoclast, and we need to have a fresh approach to the playwrights that we're performing for today.
Someone wrote that Gurney is a chronicler of the stiff upper lip wasp.
Yes.
Someone who can verbalize the strong emotions he feels, and sometimes can't even recognize those strong emotions. Is that true?
That's very true. Yes, their feelings have been politely squashed and pushed down and trimmed.
Got a great scene from The Perfect Party, but we need a little background. Scotty, can you set it up for us?
Yes. Our hero, Tony, is a college professor who wants to eschew his educational profession and give the perfect party. He is so hung up on being the perfect socialite and giving this perfect party and is certain that he has everything totally tasteful and beautiful, that he has the nerve to ask a critic from the New York Times, or a paper that is not mentioned, but a paper that is similar, to come to his party to give a social review of his party. And he runs into a New York type of gal who is a little bit hard to handle.
No stiff upper lip there.
Right, so he has to be adept and adroit at handling her.
Well, let's take a look.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to pass on this perfect party.
Pass?
Yes, it's an expression we use in New York. It means to default, withdraw, walk.
Walk?
I'm going to get up, walk out that door, and not come back.
Now, wait a minute.
I don't intend to review this party, Tony. I don't intend to mention it in a casual column, nor will I refer to it in subsequent reportage. I've had an interesting half hour or so conferring with you and your lovely wife and meeting your suburban friends, but that's as far as it goes.
But you decided to review us.
I've changed my mind.
But don't you realize that if you don't, this entire evening will go unheralded, unjudged, and uncommemorated?
Yes.
But then the world will little note nor long remember what we do here.
That's right, yes.
But don't you realize that this is the first major cultural contribution that a Protestant has made to this country since Cole Porter wrote Kiss Me, Kate?
I'm sorry, Tony.
But what happened? What went wrong? Why leave us now?
Let me try to explain it, to myself as well as to you. For some time now, I've had a sense that something vital is missing here tonight.
Something vital.
Something fundamental. Oh, at first I thought it was simply a question of language. I mean, we've all been very talky here tonight, very literary and all, and I thought what I missed was the natural vulgarity and rich rhythm of the contemporary American vernacular.
Well, I'm not going to wander around my own party saying dirty words.
Well, of course you're not, and I don't blame you. Our stilted language isn't what's getting me down. The source of my sadness goes beyond that. Oh, how do I put this? There's no sense of danger at this party.
Danger?
Danger. Every good party has underneath it a fundamental sense of danger, and this one has none.
But I'll have to go back to teaching if this doesn't work.
That's frightening, Tony, but not frightening enough. Oh, look, if you want this party reviewed, it's got to be much scarier. Think, for example, of the great parties of history, the revels of Nero during the burning of Rome, the soirees at Versailles in the lengthening shadow of the guillotine, the last frantic dance on the deck of the Titanic. Those were dangerous parties, Tony. This one just can't equal them.
You ask for too much, Lois.
Maybe I do, Tony, but so do you. Oh, look, my friend, we are very much alike, you and I. We are born perfectionists. I have struggled out of the polyglot mire of a Brooklyn kindergarten toward a cool, clear vision of some social ideal. You, on the other hand, carry with you the memory of a civilized past gleaned from your corrupt and decadent ancestors. I am moving up. You are moving down. We are gravitating toward one another, all our lives, like two lost planets in search of a sun. There's a great deal of magnetism between the two of us, Tony. And if you weren't happily married, I think I'd initiate an affair with you immediately. But there's no danger here, Tony. None. Even a simple birthday party is infused with the sadness of passing time. A wedding is fraught with the perils of sex. A funeral throbs with the ache of last things. Behind every human gathering is a sense of its own precariousness. We should dance on the edge of the abyss. That's what I don't sense here, Tony. What is the threat? Where is the pain? Everything is so cozy and comfortable and polite. As a matter of fact, it's so polite, you've let me make much too long a speech without interrupting me. It's symptomatic of the whole problem.
Movable art isn't the same as moving art, which is what Ray Eels does. Ray is a graduate art student and a Master of the Universe at the Arts and Technology Lab, a kind of R&D center at the USF College of Fine Arts. Ray showed us the high end of creative technology and told us how this medium affects his message.
This particular lab is for research projects and graduate students, faculty, visiting artists, we hope.
So the students who are in the basic stages of computer art really use lower end equipment.
Mostly the Amiga computer, yeah.
And this is used for either independent study or for R&D, essentially.
That's right. We have one of the Silicon Graphics machines. We have 3 of the high-end Amiga systems, in other words, faster processors and larger memory and so on and so forth. We have a Macintosh 2 here in the lab. We've also got some video editing that we use single frames of tape for outputting animations from this computer system. We have a film recorder for doing 35mm slides and 16mm film if we choose. So we have a variety of tools. This is the Silicon Graphics computer system here. 4D70G is the model. It's a high-end workstation. Right now we're running a 3D modeling software called Alias. Some of you may have seen the movie The Abyss. The water creature in The Abyss was modeled in Alias using this particular kind of software. It does 3D modeling, rendering, ray tracing, and animation, all in this one package. But this is a drawing that, or a model that I've done previously. I'll just do a quick render on this. I want you to see basically what it looks like. That's basically what the objects look like. I've also animated these objects. We've talked a little bit about animation, but you've not seen it done here, so we're going to see it done now. The particular kind of animation I use for this is called keyframe animation. In other words, I designated a first and a last frame for this sequence, and the computer tweened. The computer did the in-betweens for me. You can add as many keyframes as you'd like to the sequence. I've only got 2 keyframes on this sequence, but let's see what happens here when I animate this.
So this allows planes to move through each other.
So, mystery of NFL flying logos solved.
What is the significance of the computer to you as an artist, Ray?
I think, for me, the computer has the attraction of being a mass appeal type of tool. In other words, painting has been private a lot in galleries or in closed settings and in sculpture. The same kind of things, a private sculpture garden or whatever. Computer-generated animation is like film, it's like photography. It has a mass application where it can be distributed. It can infiltrate our culture like information does now. I mean, you know, information flies from one side of the globe to the other instantaneously, and computer-generated art is to me right in the groove of that kind of feel. You're able to shoot it to videotape, you're able to shoot it to film and distribute it and move it across the face of the planet. I think that's the big attraction to me. That aspect, plus the fact that I can manipulate the surface. Everything is mutable. The artist has a real total control over what he or she is doing on the computer screen. I can mutate an object from one object to another. I can take it out of time entirely and put it in a surreal space or a fantasy space, or it can be as it can be as real as your living room. You can go from photoreal to surreal to all the different moods in between. One thing that I like to do in my work is to try not to look like flying logos, that sort of thing. I've tried to explore aspects of the computer that move off of the almost stereotypical imagery that begins to happen with computer-generated stuff now. We see so much of it on television, advertising, shiny surfaces, things flying around. So I think I've applied my own aesthetic to this, and I've tried to stay away from some of the cliches consciously, but in another way, they haven't been much of an attraction to me. I see so much of it to where I'm naturally pushed away from from falling into that particular mode of working.
Let's take a look. Computer technology has already joined the fine arts with some interesting results. Here's a taped segment from a multimedia event produced at USF last year. It combined computer art, electronic music, live music, and dance. This performance art is entitled Smarter Than Dogs.